person should never give up, because the river that flows from the mountain never asks anyone how far the sea is. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today, I have a small story for you about a boy who was looking for a job. The boy had a friend who was a commander. He wanted to get a job in the king's palace. At first, he thought it was not right to ask his friend for help. But after trying everywhere and failing to find a job, he decided to go to the commander. When he met the commander, he said, "Can you help me get a job in the king's palace?" The commander asked, "What do you know? What skills do you have?" The boy replied, "I know a little bit of everything, but I don't have any special skills." The commander looked at him and said, "If you don't have any special skills, how will you get a job here?" After thinking for a while, the commander said, "All right, let's meet the king." They went to the king. The king asked the same question, "What skills do you have?" The boy replied, "I don't have any special skill, but I can manage everything. I make sure nothing gets stuck and everything runs smoothly." The king thought for a moment and said, "All right, let's keep him." The boy got the job, but no special tasks were assigned to him. He was given the job only because the commander recommended him. The boy would come to the palace daily and do small tasks here and there, but most of the time, he had nothing significant to do. One day the king decided to send him on a task. The king called the boy and said, "There is a village far away at the foot of the mountain. The villagers there owe us money. They had taken a loan from us but haven't repaid it yet. I want you to go there, take these papers, and collect the money from them." The boy agreed and asked, "When I return, what should I bring for you?" The king smiled and said, "Bring me whatever you think is not already here in this palace." Then, the king laughed, thinking it was just a casual remark. The boy got on his horse and started his journey. He rode down the mountain and reached the village. When he arrived, he stood before the villagers and said, "The king has sent me. It's time to repay the money you owe." He opened the papers and began reading how much each villager owed. The villagers who were poor stood silently. Their faces were downcast, and their eyes filled with tears. They had no money to repay the loan. This year's crops had failed, and they barely had enough to eat. They didn't know how to explain this to the boy. The boy looked at their faces and understood their situation. It was winter, and the villagers had lit a fire to stay warm. He gathered them and said, "Listen, you don't have to repay the king's loan. Forget about it." The villagers were shocked. They couldn't believe what they had heard. "We don't have to pay back the loan. Are you serious?" they asked. The boy nodded and said, "Yes, you don't have to repay it." But then one of the villagers said, "What about the papers? The papers with our thumbprints? If the king gets those papers, he might send someone else to collect the money." The boy thought for a moment. Then, he took the papers and threw them into the fire. The papers burned completely, and with them, all the records of the villagers' debts were gone. The villagers were overjoyed. They couldn't believe their debts were truly forgiven. They danced with happiness and blessed the boy. "You have done something no one else would do for us. May you always be happy and successful," they said. The boy returned to the palace. When he met the king, he said, "The villagers cannot repay the loan. They have no money." The king was furious. "What are you saying? Didn't you bring the money?" The boy replied calmly, "You told me to bring something that is not already in the palace, so I brought it." The king was confused. "What did you bring?" The boy said, "I brought the prayers, love, and blessings of those villagers. These are not in the palace, and they are more valuable than any amount of money." The king was thoughtful. He didn't say anything and remained silent. A few days later, another king attacked their kingdom. It was a terrible attack, and the king had to flee. The boy stayed by his side and said, "I know a place where we can hide." Let's go to the village at the foot of the mountain. The villagers will protect you." The boy sent a message to the villagers, and they welcomed the king and his family with open arms. The villagers took care of them and kept them safe until the king regained his strength and power. When the king returned to his palace, he realized the true value of the villagers' blessings and prayers. The story is simple but meaningful. It teaches us that true wealth is not in material possessions, but in the relationships and goodwill we build through our actions. By helping others selflessly, we earn their love, prayers and blessings, which can become our greatest shield in times of adversity. Blessings have a power that goes beyond what money can buy. They can save lives, restore hope, and create miracles. This story reminds us to focus on doing good for others, even when there's no immediate reward, because acts of kindness always come back to us in unexpected ways. The villagers' love and support saved the king's life, proving that kindness and goodwill are the greatest treasures. So, keep earning blessings, spreading kindness, and making the world a better place for everyone. These intangible riches will bring peace and protection when you need them the most.